up, travelers? It's Eliz
and Derek
from Means to Travel, and we're joined today by our friends, the Gallivanting Gals.
Hey, y'all.
Hey. So it's Tracey and Melinda, and we are doing a collaboration where we're going to be talking to you guys today about our tips for traveling with your significant other. So the first part of this video is going on their channel today, so we're going to have a link to that after this video ends, so that way you can watch that one too.
But why don't you guys tell them real quick about your channel so that people know where to go and find it?
Sure. And we're Gallivanting Gals on YouTube, and we're also on Facebook and Instagram. And we will make sure that we include the links for Liz to have in the description box below.
Yeah, links to all their information is going to be below. So without further ado, let's just jump into our tips for traveling with your significant other.
Yep, and I think the first thing to do here is to talk about when you are traveling as a couple, how do you best accumulate points, whether these are airline miles, hotel points, whatever. What's the best way of doing that? And if it's somebody who you're a long-term committed relationship,
if you're in a joint household.
If you're in a joint household, if you're commingling your finances already, have somebody act as the point bank who can actually accumulate all the points, all the, statuses and things of that nature, because then you're going to get to a higher status quicker, and you have a bigger pool of points to ultimately use for, free nights in hotels, free airline tickets, maybe perks at rental car companies. So having one person kind of act as that point bank is very important. Now, I will say, if you're not in a long-term relationship and maybe it's just your boyfriend, girlfriend, maybe find a way to split up so that you get your points as well. But if it's a more long-term thing, I'd say find kind of that one person to kind of hold the points.
Yeah, figure out the strategy that makes the most sense for the state that you're in.
Yep, absolutely. The other thing is, before you leave the house, particularly if you have one thing you have to take, make sure that if you're the other person who's not responsible for it, you still go back and maybe double check, make sure nothing was missed, because the last thing you want to do is get to your destination and realize whatever it is you may have needed, let's say it's medications or whatever, didn't get packed. So it's always better to have two sets of eyes than one.
Or your driver's license. Or
Oh.
passport. We've had that happen. Gotten all the way to the airport. I didn't have a driver's license. So, it can happen.
It can't happen.
Yeah,
It can't happen.
When Derek goes on work trips every week, I always kind of sit right before we leave and just list off all of those commonly forgotten things. I'll say, do you have your toothbrush? Do you have your cell phone charger?
Yep.
Chargers
Chargers are a big one. Chargers are
contact
cords.
solution.
Yep.
Yes.
I forgot my laptop charger one time on a business trip. I'm a mess, guys.
Yeah.
You're fine, babe. So the next tip that we have is to make sure when you're booking a rental car, if that's something that you're going to be doing for your trip, definitely double check that a second driver or a spouse is allowed to be added on for free, or if not, make sure that's in your budget. So what Derek and I ended up doing when we went to the UK for 3 months last fall is we were not able to get a spouse added on to our rental car for free. So as a result, Derek did all of the driving the entire time we were there for 3 months.
Yeah, it can get pricey.
It can. And when they talk about, it's only 20 pounds a day to add a second driver, you're like, well, I'm going to have this car for 90 days. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So I ended up driving. So that's fine.
Yeah, and there's certain rental car companies, even within the United States, that allow for a spouse to be added on for free, and others that do not. So just make sure to read that fine print, and if that's something that you feel like is a necessity for your trip, maybe to have two drivers, maybe you're driving a really long distance, etc., then just know in advance.
Yeah. Or make sure, if you're in the UK, that those people actually can drive on the opposite side of the road correctly. Because I drove our first trip for a minute.
And then you got kicked out?
And then I got kicked out.
No U-turns.
Yeah.
No U-turns.
Every time we did a
throw you
U-turn,
off every
I
time.
would get it. I just couldn't get. I don't know. And then I started hitting the line of Kirby. My nickname became Kirby.
Oh my God!
So
you both are going to the UK this fall again.
Yeah.
she'll be driving.
all the driving.
I'll be doing the driving.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
We've got another video coming up, and we're going to dive into this in a lot more detail, I think.
That's after a few cocktails, though.
Yeah. The next item would be if you can share basic items, so that way it saves space in luggage. Now, I mean, obviously you have to be close to this person. You don't have to share your toothbrush, but if you can use the same toothpaste, if you can use the same shampoo, even if you wear the same size clothes, and you can intermingle your shirts or your pants or shoes or whatever, just to save space. But mainly that would probably go with toiletries. Because, you don't want, 4 kinds of conditioners and shampoos and toothpaste and whatever it is. So just, if you can share those, do it.
I'm certainly not sharing jeans with Eliz.
Or deodorant.
Deodorant. Yeah. If you have the
She won't
spray
let me
kind,
share deodorant.
if you have the spray kind of deodorant, that actually might be something you could do.
Hey,
But we do
Strong
share.
enough for a man.
But made for a woman.
we do share our body wash usually.
Yes.
Sometimes a shampoo or conditioner or shaving gel or something like that, and toothpaste. So that way it just makes it a little bit easier with your toiletry case.
Okay, so for our next tip, it is about dinner reservations. So, I don't know about you guys, but I always feel like there's one person who maybe cares a little bit more about restaurant choice, food, cuisine, etc. In our relationship, that is definitely me. I'm the one to take that one on. And, making reservations for your trip in advance, and maybe, finding a couple of locations, especially if you're traveling abroad, because you get to a place and you're like, oh my God, I'm in France. How do I, they don't have open table. What do I do? How do I make a reservation?
Also, maybe you're just jet lagged and you're like, I need to eat at 4 p.m.
So making those in advance, it's going to do a couple things for you, right? It's going to take some of the stress off of you as a couple because you know what you're doing, you have your plan in place, and it's also going to allow you to actually know how to make reservations wherever you're going. Maybe it's there's a thing, it's called fork, but in French, so I'm not even going to try to pronounce it, which is kind of like their open table. Maybe you do it through that, and it's just going to make your life that much easier.
Yeah, and you don't have to be constantly researching restaurant options right when you land, because that can be such a headache.
Anytime you have to look for a restaurant when you're hangry, it just doesn't work out well.
I
You
feel
usually
like
make poor choices.
Somehow that's always when I'm looking for a restaurant. Is when I'm hangry.
I will have sticky toffee pudding, thank you. But the other thing is that, it also allows you to make sure that you maybe have that conversation in advance about what you guys are planning to eat, what do you want to have, because I don't know about you guys, but a lot of times with significant others, maybe you're like, what do you want? I don't know. What do you want? I don't know. And that just wastes time.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have it understood, it's just say what you want and have it. It's great. So that's that tip.
Yeah.
So also, if you don't wear the same size clothes, like Tracey mentioned earlier, we clearly don't. We swap an outfit in each other's luggage, so that way, if your suitcase gets lost, you've at least got whatever you're wearing in an extra outfit, until you can hopefully get your luggage and it's not really lost, just delayed. That makes a big difference. We haven't ever actually had that issue, but we're always prepared just in case. That way, you've at least got one set of clean clothes with you.
Absolutely.
That's a great tip.
Yeah,
We've never done that. We need to do this. Yes, that's a phenomenal tip.
So the next tip that we're going to talk about is if you're going abroad, maybe the designation of a double-sized hotel room might be a little bit different than what you're accustomed to in your home country. So we're sitting here in the United States. If you're going to get a double room in the U.S., you're likely going to get a queen size or even a king size bed. However, in other parts of the world, I'm going to use European countries as an example, you might end up getting even a full-size bed, which maybe that's not something that you would necessarily consider to be comfortable on your vacation. So double checking, especially when you're traveling with a spouse that you'd be sharing a bed with, what a double bed size room means is going to be key.
Yeah, and if you get a king size bed, do not be surprised if in Europe it's really 2 beds pushed together with 1 sheet
Two
over
twin
it.
beds, yep.
They do that quite often.
Yeah,
They do.
absolutely.
And they'll slide apart
They
sometimes.
do.
Yep.
Well, we booked a room when my daughter was traveling with us, and it was for 3 people. So we assumed here, if you book a room for 3 people, you get like 2 double beds or 2 queens.
Right.
We got to the room, and it literally was 3 twin beds.
Twin beds.
It was like, mama bear, baby
So
bear,
cute.
baby bear. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
So just it was
good.
fun.
Okay.
It worked. It didn't, but yeah, it was interesting.
Our last and final tip, which I would say goes for all of us here, is be flexible. Just have fun. Laugh. Make memories. That's what it's all about. So that would be my biggest tip.
Yep.
Yeah.
Out of all this is just have fun, be flexible,
Just roll with it.
roll
It's a
with
mindset.
it. Yeah.
Yep.
100%, because traveling
Yeah.
with your significant other that's your time to really bond and really get to know each other. So you just want to go into it knowing that you're going to have a great time.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you to the Gallivanting Gals for joining us for this second part of our video series today. Again, if you want to see the other points that we have for how to travel with your significant other, definitely go check out the video on their channel. And as always, thanks everybody for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up down below. And don't forget to press that red subscribe button below too, so you don't miss any of our travel videos on this channel to come. Thanks everybody for watching. Cheers. Happy travels. Bye.
See you.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.
Okay. So the next tip has. Bleh. Okay. So for our next.
Sorry. And toothpaste. So that way it just makes it a little bit easier
Yeah.
with your toiletry case.
Yep.
Occasionally a loofah.
You missed that. You're gonna die.
I think
when
I
you
saw
see
it
that.
on the
You're gonna die.
peripheral.
Hey travelers, don't forget to subscribe and let's hang out more. Here are some links to other helpful travel videos on my channel, and press that notification bell so you don't miss any new and awesome travel videos to come.